A heavily armed woman entered a Christian school in Nashville today, fatally shooting three children and three staff members before she was shot and killed by the police. Reports are that this woman once attended this K through 6th grade Christian school. As of mid-March, the Gun Violence Archive has counted 129 mass shootings in the United States this year alone. Last year, the group counted 647 mass shootings. Of those, 21 involved five or more fatalities. At least 50 people were killed in Mississippi and Alabama over the weekend as a result of deadly tornadoes. Dozens more were injured. Rolling Fork and Silver City, rural towns in predominantly Black areas of Mississippi, were essentially flattened. A dramatic shift in U.S. gun culture made the AR-15 a bestseller. About 1 in 20 adults, roughly 16 million people, own at least one AR-15. The industry embraced the gun's political and cultural significance as a marketing tool after a federal assault weapons ban expired in 2004. And Vice President Kamala Harris has begun a week-long tour of Ghana and two other African nations as the Biden administration hopes to set a new path for U.S.-Africa ties that focuses on collaboration rather than crisis, a trip seen as a significant step forward towards revitalizing a relationship with Africa. The arrest of actor Jonathan Majors has upended the Army's newly launched advertising campaign that was aimed at reviving the service's struggling recruiting numbers. Majors, who authorities said was arrested Saturday in New York on charges of strangulation, assault, and harassment, was the narrator of two ads at the heart of a broader media campaign. Majors' attorney says he is innocent and she expects all charges to be dropped. For the first time, autism is being diagnosed more frequently in Black and Hispanic children than in white kids in the U.S. The CDC said that amongst U.S. 8-year-olds, 1 in 36 had autism in 2020. That number is up from 1 in 44. A majority of Black women say they feel they have to change their hair just to be taken seriously for job opportunities and in professional settings. Some 66% of them said they had to change their hair for a job interview to lessen the chances of being passed over due to hair discrimination. 25% of Black women said they believe they were denied a job interview because of their hair. You are listening to Areva Martin in real time, and I'm your host, Areva Martin. This is your one-stop destination for today's trending news, expert analysis, and my unfiltered opinions. This is our second hour, so we are taking your calls at 1-800-920-1580, or if you're watching on KBLA's YouTube page, drop us a comment or a question and we just might read it on air. In this hour, we are celebrating Black History Month, and that means celebrating two African-American women who are making a difference in their own careers. We're going to hear from these women, talk to them about, did they ever experience hair discrimination? What are some of the obstacles that they faced, and how have they overcome them? We know that Black women are having a moment in politics, particularly in California. Malia Cohen, first Black woman elected as our state controller. London Breed, first Black woman elected as the mayor of San Francisco. Karen Bass, first Black woman elected as mayor of Los Angeles. Barbara Lee, a Black woman running for U.S. Senate. So Black women are really making a mark as it relates to politics in our state. But when you look at Black women and you look at women in the workplace, we are still sorely underrepresented in C-suites and in so many managerial jobs. And one big factor is what some folks call a broken rung. And that's that first critical step to being a manager. For every 100 men promoted to manager, only 58 Black women are promoted, despite the fact that Black women are asking for promotions at the same rate as men, and despite the fact that Black women are amongst the most educated demographic in this country. And for every 100 men hired into manager roles, only 64 Black women are hired too. That means there are fewer Black women to promote at every subsequent level. And that representation gap keeps getting wider and wider. Now, you add this to the fact that the majority of Black women report discrimination based on their hair. You wonder how it is that Black women are making their mark on the world, particularly making their mark in corporate America. When we come forward, meet two amazing women who, despite these obstacles, are making a huge difference in their communities. We are celebrating Black women. We're celebrating Women's History Month right here on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay with us.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates women's history. Wharfinger. Gabrielle was awarded the LABP Trailblazer Award in the city of Los Angeles in February 2023. KBLA and Walmart salutes Gabrielle Earl.
Thanks to our new sponsor, Lendistry. Lendistry is a national Black-led small business lender that is headquartered in Los Angeles. Lendistry helps small business owners access the affordable capital needed to grow. Visit Lendistry, LENDISTRY.com/KBLA today.
Here at NerdWallet, we often see people wrestle with financial decisions.
Mike is in the ring, up against his nemesis, indecision. Mike can't decide the best way to save his money, and indecision has him boxed in. But wait, Mike tagged in NerdWallet.
Let's go. With NerdWallet side-by-side comparisons, you can find a high-yield savings account with interest rates that earn more bang for your buck. So the next time you wrestle with a financial decision, you'll come out on top. NerdWallet, the smartest decision for all your financial decisions.
Lenny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
This is hour 2 of Areva Martin in real time. And in this hour, we are taking your calls at 1-800-920-1580. In this hour, we are also celebrating Women's History Month. And we are talking to two amazing women who are making a mark on their communities, despite some of the obstacles that we know women, particularly Black women, face in the workplace. Joining me in this hour is Tina Sims. She is a developmental co-manager at Walmart. She's been there for 10 years, and she co-manages $100 million stores. And she has worked with Walmart, learned their culture, and just has risen through the ranks at Walmart. Welcome, Tina.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here.
Pleasure to meet you. And also joining us in this hour is Gabrielle Earl. She's a co-founder of the Black Family Circle Parent Advisory Committee for the ABC School District. She won a big award for her efforts to help out families during the pandemic, particularly those that are unhoused. She serves her neighborhood and other communities in the and she also works for the city of Los Angeles. Welcome, Gabrielle, and congratulations on that award.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Well, first of all, one, just congratulations to both of you. Both of you have done some amazing things in your career, and you have overcome obstacles despite the challenges we know. And I started the segment by talking about, some of the issues that Black women face in the workplace in particular. And today that report was out about Black women and hair discrimination. So I kind of want to start with that. I want to ask if either of you, Tina or Gabrielle, have ever experienced hair discrimination where you felt like you needed to change your hair so as to not be passed over for a job interview or a promotion in the workplace. I'll start with you, Tina. What about you? Have you ever experienced that?
No, not directly. I haven't experienced that. I do get a lot of questions about my hair, though. I do get a lot of questions about my hair. Sometimes I wear it down. Sometimes I wear it up in a bun. And people ask about my ethnicity. Quite frankly, I'm African American, and my father is African American, and my mother is Hispanic. So I see where I work at, and in the past where I've been, Walmart wants everyone to come to work to just be themselves. If you decide to wear braids, if you decide to have a bald head or a bob or whatever it may be, interlocks, dreadlocks, it doesn't matter. And especially with me, I am a store manager. I've been a store manager for them for almost 6 years now, after being a total of 10 years. It doesn't matter to me. And I want to make that very clear as the leader of my building and to my community and to my associates. I'm an ally, if anything. I'm an ally from them. I am the face to upper management. I'm the face to my community. I'm there for my associates and with people that look like me. Some people may have different hair than I do. Some people may have hair like I do. But at the end of the day, I can't say that I've been discriminated directly in regards to the texture of my hair or the way that I present myself. I don't think in the past or present I've ever had that.
Well, you said something interesting, Tina, about people, I guess, not believing that you're African American or thinking that you're African American, and people asking you a lot of questions about your hair. So what are the questions that you get asked? I can't really see your hair if it's up in a bun or pulled back like mine is. Yeah. Okay, now I see your bun. Okay.
Well, no one, is it real? I'm like, what do you mean is it real? It doesn't matter. Does it matter whether it's real or it's not? You pay for it regardless. You comb it, it's on you, so it's yours.
Okay.
I mean, I'm very direct when it comes to people's appearances and the questions that I've gotten over the years. So, I mean, to me, it's not so much about a way a person looks. And I know there's not a lot of me in this world. There's different types of people that are ignorant and don't understand. It's about performance. It's what you can bring to the table. What do you have to offer? It's more to just somebody's appearance.
Right. How about you, Gabrielle? Have you ever experienced any discrimination that you believe was based on your hair, whether you had it in a bun or braids or dreadlocks? Have you had that experience?
So I personally have not had that experience. I've been employed with the city of Los Angeles since 2006, so it's going on 16 years. And I've been in various departments. One thing I can tell you about the city of Los Angeles is very diverse. So I've learned a lot about other cultures and religions along the way. One thing that has been brought to my attention is if I change my hair, there are questions, but I've never felt as though I was being discriminated against.
Well, are you surprised, either of you surprised that in this survey that was done, this is Dove, the soap company that's been heavily involved in supporting the Crown Act and heavily involved in really bringing to light this issue of hair discrimination, that 66% of the women that were a part of this survey said they had to change their hair for a job interview. And then 25% of Black women saying that they believe they were denied a job interview because of their hair. So I know both of you have said you've not had that personal experience, but those are some really high numbers. So I'll start with you, Gabrielle. Are those numbers shocking to you, that percentage of women, Black women in particular, have had, issues around job interviews related to their hair?
That's extremely shocking and very saddening, because that can just play on your emotional and state. And I think subconsciously, we're always checking to make sure we as African American women are well put together. And so when you put yourself in that mindset already, and then depending on where you work or where your career is, that all plays into part. Mm-hmm. So I believe the numbers are accurate, and I'm just thankful that I haven't experienced that, but am very, just upset that people are still experiencing that.
Yeah, I want to take a caller. Sean is on the line from Oakland. You're on the air, Sean.
So I remember the good old boy network that she had to navigate. It was much more her being a woman than it had to do with her race, because she's lighter skinned, right? She's multicultural in her background. But the thing that overrides everything is your intelligence. And this is my experience. And I'm 55 and I've seen all these things. My better half told me, stay out of it back in the day, because she could handle her own business, and she did and still is. And, regarding her hair, I love when she wears her hair completely natural. But, it's her choice, or any woman's choice, to wear her hair how in the heck she wants to wear her hair. As long as you do a good job, just remember, be smarter than everybody. And I have to tell you, Black women in general have to overperform, and the intelligence pool is outstanding. And I would pick every single Black woman in a high performing job over some of these people that have been, given, the golden spoon every single week.
Well, thank you, Sean, for that allyship. We greatly appreciate it. Thanks for calling in. I'm sure your wife, if she's listening, she's going to say, oh, I trained him well. So, let me ask you this, Tina. So I know that promotions and women getting promoted, that's, again, I started off talking about how the disproportionate number of women who are in management positions, and some say it's that missing rung, because you don't have enough in the pipeline. So you can't get more at the top of an organization if you don't have folks in the pipeline. Some folks say we don't have people in the pipeline because there aren't sponsors. There aren't people inside corporations that, reach back and say, hey, here's Mary. She just got started. I'm going to mentor her. I'm going to, really keep my eye on her. And when there's a job opening, I'm going to be her internal champion, her internal advocate, to really try to push her through. What does that look like where you work, that opportunity for the pipeline to be, to have more Black women in it, so that it's not so shocking that Black women end up at the top of the organization?
Well, we do. From corporate, from Bentonville, Arkansas, we do. I have someone that mentors me, and I utilize myself as a store manager to be able to mentor those. I reach back and I bring those along. There's, like you said, there's not many of us, but we do have that. And I think for an organization to really understand the power in having a mentorship program, or people who are helping develop others to understand this retail business, it's huge. And I have a mentor that's not even from this state, that works at the same company that I work with. And, they're older mentor, but the things that she has taught me, or the conversations that we have, and I think we talked about it earlier, or someone said it, on how we act or how we have to work extra hard. It's like she's mentoring me on how to manage and navigate through that. And I mean, there's been a lot of good pointers that she's given me over my time at Walmart. I share it. I think when we get to where we want to be, or strive or meet those goals, you said it, you have to reach back and help others. If you don't, this so-called pipeline is going to be non-existent. Mm-hmm. We owe that. As far as I'm concerned, we owe that to one another.
Yeah, what about, and you're so right, and thank you, and kudos to you for one, having a mentor, and a mentor that obviously is giving you sage advice, and for you then following that advice and reaching back and helping others as they come into the Walmart organization. What about you, Gabrielle? Have you had mentors or advocates or champions in the workplace that have helped you as you've tried to either get promotions or move into different departments or different areas in the city of Los Angeles?
I definitely have. As I said before, it's been 16 years. I started with the city of Los Angeles very young at the age of 20. And I can almost say within the first month, I had mentors that were looking to see me grow. And we also have the LAABP organization that is continuously providing resources, information, networking, and even on the job, regardless of what division I've been in or department, I've always come in contact with a mentor. And I turn around and tend to mentor right back.
The LAABP, is that Los Angeles African American, or what does that stand for?
It's Los Angeles African Black Personnel.
Okay, so that's an infinity group within the city of Los Angeles that provides support for African American workers within the city. Let me ask you about this. You said you've been at the city for 16 years. You started when you were 20. That makes you 36. 16 years on a job today sounds like a lifetime. You know, people used to stay on jobs 15, 20, 30 years retired. Today, most people leave jobs 6 months, a year, 2 years. How is it that you have stayed on that job for 16 years?
Awesome. So
and you're like an older millennial. I mean, you're still a millennial technically, right?
Yes. Yes. I'm still a millennial. And, you know, to be honest with you, because the city of Los Angeles has so many departments and job classifications, you can almost do anything that you want to do. And so I started as a vocational worker, which was a custodian position. And now I'm currently a Wharfinger for the Port of Los Angeles. So I've held various positions and seen a lot of the city. So it doesn't get old or, you know, uninteresting. So, yeah, it doesn't seem like it's been 16 years.
I know it's just gone quickly. What do you do for the port, Gabrielle?
So I'm a Wharfinger, and there's only so many of us in the country. And people are always saying, oh, what is a Wharfinger? So the simplest explanation is that we're the keeper of the wharf. We're responsible for the tariff number 4 and all the vessels that come into the port, railroad, just everything. We also have a hand in the film industry as well. It's very exciting. I'm in the office, but I have the luxury to be out in the field and do cursory checks and interact with people. And
how do you become a Wharfinger? Like what's the career path for that? Is there something you study in school, or like somebody out there that's saying, hey, I want to do that? How do they do that?
There is actually a certification for it, but there's other ways to become a Wharfinger. You would just have to have experience with processing maritime documents. So anyone who has any type of experience in, you know, ports and vessels or maritime, you could apply for the position. It is a small knit group. It's a lovely group. And to be honest with you, I did not know what a Wharfinger was. And they were upstairs from where I was working. But someone recruited me, an African-American woman, who said, I think you would be a great Wharfinger.
How many Black Wharfingers are there in LA and then across the country, if you know?
Oh, so I do not know across the country. There's me, and we have one other woman who's biracial, and we just said a farewell to another one who promoted somewhere else within the city of Los Angeles. So, there's not that many of us, but.
Wow. And that's out of a group of how many? So there's basically two, if I don't know if the other person identifies as Black.
I think there's about maybe like 12 of us.
Wow.
12 or 13. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. And you weren't thinking about this. You said someone came to you and
yes,
what they sell you on the benefits of it or the excitement of the job, and what was attractive to you to make you say, yeah, that sounds good, I'm going to apply for that?
So before going to the Harper department, I used to work for the housing department, the Los Angeles Community Investment Department. And I was in the inspection section. So I had the luxury to go along on rides with the inspectors and make sure that things were, of code. So I'm kind of a hands-on person. I love being in the office too, but I also love to be out there and just, getting to know the customer, our business partners. And it kind of was a lateral to what I was previously doing. And with my personality, she said, you would love that position. And she wasn't wrong.
Wow. Well, when we come forward after some news, sports, and traffic, we're going to talk to Tina Sims and Gabrielle Earl more about the challenges they face in the workplace and what they want women of color to know about climbing the corporate ladder. Stay with us, KBLA Talk 1580.
More of Areva Martin in real time when we come forward.
I'm Julius White. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Police have identified the 3 kids and 3 adults killed by a shooter at a private Christian elementary school in Nashville, Tennessee today. The kids killed at the Covenant Presbyterian School included 2 9-year-olds and 1 8-year-old. The shooter, a transgender Nashville woman armed with 2 assault-style weapons, was shot and killed by police inside the school. New York is inching closer to prohibiting the use of gas stoves in new buildings. State lawmakers may include new legislation in the upcoming budget to prohibit gas stoves from being used in new buildings, single-family homes, and commercial properties by 2025. And the Final Four is set in the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Saturday's national semifinal in Houston will tip off with San Diego State taking on 9-seed Florida Atlantic, followed by Miami against 4-seed UConn. I'm Julius White on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
In orange on the 5 northbound before the 2257. Got a crash with a motorcycle down, and the carpool lane is blocked. It's going to be stopped from Culver Drive. In Hawthorne, 105 eastbound of Prairie Avenue, got a crash clearing to the right shoulder, but you've got some pretty heavy delays from the 405. And in Woodland Hills, 101 northbound, right at Topanga Canyon Boulevard, got a report of a crash block in the right lane. You're going to be on those brakes from Reseda Boulevard.
Staples Print and Marketing Services help small business print big. Now get $15 off signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Offer ends 4/15. Visit staples.com/printbig for details. This is your sign to try Staples, where prints are perfect, guaranteed.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The news came out today that Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson sent a letter to the team on March 2nd demanding to be traded. This is no surprise. Jackson and the Ravens have made no progress in a long-term contract for the former MVP. Jackson's trade request was submitted before the Ravens put the non-exclusive franchise tag on him. The tag limits Jackson's 1-year salary this season to $32.5 million and allows the Ravens to match any offer from other teams. Much more to come on this story. The Clippers are in action tonight against the Chicago Bulls. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. This sports report was brought to you by Original Taco Pete.
It's Aaron from Original Taco Pete. Let us cater your March Madness munchies. Order with us at Original Taco Pete on Grubhub, Uber Eats, DoorDash, or stop into our Slauson and Crenshaw location. We'll feed you soon.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a whole lot to talk about.
Hi, Maisha Cairo here, KBLA, live at Chase Bank on Crenshaw and Vernon for the In This Together tour with female business owners, a day of empowerment, community panels, and best of all, tips on building business from marketing to capital. Today, I was able to speak with Ola Wadibia, VP of Women on the Move. Hi, Ola. Tell me a bit about this initiative by JP Morgan Chase, founded in 2013.
Women on the Move is a center of excellence at JP Morgan Chase in our global DEI organization, where we really focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion. What's really awesome about Chase's approach is that all of our centers of excellence, and there are 7 of them, focus on different demographic groups, is that we're really focusing on what's happening internally in the firm and also what's happening out in community. So really, Women on the Move is really focused on thinking about how do we help advance women professionally and personally.
I love it. So tell me about this beautifully updated banking branch here on Crenshaw.
That was really important. A part of our racial equity commitment was to build in place for Chase. So being able to revamp this beautiful space, to be able to welcome community members, today, anyone, nonprofit, organization, school can actually do events in our community center that we're sitting in here for free. Yes, people come inside, like grab a coffee, use the Wi-Fi. It's free.
Yes, Maisha Cairo in the community for KBLA with JP Morgan Chase.
California is a great place to live and work, but those aren't easy things to do for students also going to college. That's why the state created the Californians for All College Corps, a way for students to build skills and help others while earning up to $10,000 for school. Commit to serve your community and we'll help you pay for college. Spots will fill up fast, so learn more and apply today at www.cacollegecorps.com. That's www.cacollegecorps.com. California is a great place to live and work, but those aren't easy things to do for students also going to college. That's why the state created the Californians for All College Corps, a way for students to build skills and help others while earning up to $10,000 for school. Commit to serve your community and we'll help you pay for college. Spots will fill up fast, so learn more and apply today at www.cacollegecorps.com. That's www.cacollegecorps.com.
Need legal help? Attorney Jovan Blacknell is an aggressive trial attorney specializing in criminal defense and civil litigation. Look no further than the law office of Jovan Blacknell. From personal injury to criminal defense, Jovan Blacknell has the knowledge to protect your rights. The law office of Jovan Blacknell understands the stress and anxiety that come with legal issues. That's why the law office of Jovan Blacknell supports the right to a fair trial. For Los Angeles Council member Mark Ridley Thomas, are you facing a legal battle? Log on to fightforjustice.com. Don't go through it alone. Let the law office of Jovan Blacknell fight for your rights. Log on to fightforjustice.com. Let the law office of Jovan Blacknell take the worry and stress out of your case. Call 310-469-9117 today for a free consultation. That's 310-469-9117 or log on to fightforjustice.com. Law office of Jovan Blacknell, where experience and dedication.
I'm back, and we are celebrating Women's History Month. I know it's the last week of the month, but it's still important to acknowledge the amazing women who are making such a difference in their communities. And this month, throughout the month, we have had women from Malia Cohen to Congresswoman Barbara Lee to our own Mayor Karen Bass on to talk about how they overcame the challenges that they faced in order to become some of the most powerful women in the state of California, and I'd venture to say in the United States. It's not easy for women, particularly Black women. We talked a little earlier about hair discrimination. You would think in 2023 that how someone wears their hair would not be an issue, but it's a huge issue, so much so that we had to have an actual bill called the Crown Act passed. It's been passed in states like California and other states across the country, not passed yet at the federal level, but this act prohibits discrimination against women in the workplace because of their hair. Because the reality was that Black women who wear natural hairstyles, braids, dreadlocks, or even short afros were being discriminated against, and according to this new study by Dove, are still facing discrimination in the workplace. Too many women reporting that they believe they're passed over for interviews, passed over for promotions, and treated differently in the workplace because of how they wear their hair. And again, you would think this is the 1930s, 40s, or 50s, not 2023 when women in all kinds of offices, high political offices, are seen. Women in television, women in, corporate America, just women in any industry that you can think of, presenting themselves in different shapes and forms and fashion and different hairstyles. You would think that we wouldn't still be grappling with hair. When you look across corporate America, though, there's still lots of challenges that women face. Only 3 Black women as of 2020. In 2020, only 37 of the Fortune 500 companies actually had females who were CEOs of those companies. And that was considered a record high. That was 7.4%, and that was a record high. And at that time in 2020, none of those women were Black women. In 2021, we actually did have 3 Black women serving as CEOs in major corporations like Walgreens. Rosalind Brewer came on board in 2021. Cassandra Brown Duckett became CEO of TIAA in May of 2021 as well. We know Ursula Burns was also CEO at Xerox some years ago. So women, Black women in particular, are still not getting to the C-suite and getting to those CEO positions in ways that you would expect, particularly when you look at the education level that Black women have achieved over the last several decades. More Black women in most graduate schools, whether it's law school, business school, medical school, PhD programs. You look at all those graduate programs, they have huge numbers, or huge meaning comparatively to Black men. You see more Black women in those programs. Even in college campuses, undergraduate degrees, more Black women in undergraduate degrees than Black men, but yet Black women still get paid less than Black men. They get paid less than white men. They get paid less than white women. The only people Black women don't get paid less than are Latino women and Native American women. So what is still holding Black women back? I'm joined in this segment by Tina Sims. She's a store manager at Walmart, and Gabrielle Earl. She is a Wharfinger for the city of Los Angeles. And if you were listening earlier, you got an education on what a Wharfinger is and a career that you might want to pursue. But Tina, let's talk. Rosalind Brewer worked at Sam's Club, I think, didn't she, before she went over to Walgreens?
Correct.
Yeah, so she had, what was her position at Sam's? Was she a president, or I can't remember?
She was like an executive VP.
Okay, so she had really climbed the ranks and had a very high position, and Walmart owns Sam's Club. What about now, when you look at Walmart, tell us what the upper ranks of Walmart looks like in terms of women, and particularly in terms of Black women.
Well, the upper ranks, I mean, every area, every region is ran by regional, and then it's breaking out into markets, and those regionals communicate to home office. In my region alone here in Southern California, we do have an African-American woman who is a market manager. There's about 14 market managers, and out of the 14, Jackie is one of them. She came through the ranks. She was a store manager prior, an assistant manager, worked her way up to the market manager level. She actually ran the Crenshaw Walmart before closing that store. So she's part of my mentorship. She's somebody that I know I can reach out to, and we talked about before. We do have different African-American women in leadership roles in Walmart. Just recently, the senior vice president of consumables is African-American women. There's different positions. I think the young lady talked about it earlier. There's different avenues that you can go into Walmart and be in a leadership role, and it just doesn't end at the store level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing I'm always impressed with Walmart's, I've been to a lot of functions where I've sat next to Walmart employees, and I'm always amazed. You talk to someone who says, I started as a checker or a bagger or even a greeter, and now they're like, I'm over 50 stores with, $200 million in revenue or something insane like that. And you're thinking, oh my God, how does someone who started 18, bagging groceries at a Walmart become an executive that's now over a whole region and, a budget that can be in the multi-millions, hundreds of millions of dollars? And that's kind of your story too, Tina. You started out with Walmart 10 years ago, and now you manage a store like $100 million budget. Did I get that right?
Correct. It's $112 million. I came from another retailer. I was a store manager there. And then coming into Walmart, there was just different avenues from compliance to foods. There was just different things that I needed to learn. So I humbled myself and took a step back and learned through the ranks and knew that I would be able, in my own mind, I knew I would be able to run a store for them, and actually currently seeking to become a market manager at this point.
And what is so a market manager is like a regional manager where you manage multiple stores? Is that what a market manager is?
So a market manager is the next step from a store manager, and they manage multiple stores.
Okay.
And then the market managers report to the regional, who manage a region. So a region would be half of Southern California, Nevada, Arizona.
Okay.
A region would be Northern California, Colorado, Washington. But my goal right now is to become a market manager. I know that it's attainable and that I have people behind me that are willing to support me in getting that done. It may not necessarily be in California. There's avenues where store managers can move to different states at Walmart. Currently, I have a store lead in my store who's an African-American female who used to be a department manager for me. She worked at Sam's Club. She came to the blue side, which we call Walmart. Aisha Carradine's her name. She started with the company 20 years ago, and she's ready to become a store manager. So
wow. Yeah. So what is it? So Walmart must employ, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of people every year. We know retail has a lot of turnover, a lot of attrition. People start, a lot of college students, a lot of folks get it. They don't like it. They it's a heavy turnover industry. What is it that makes someone go into a Walmart at 18, 20, 21 years old, and at 45, they are still there and now running a major, operation with a huge budget, hundreds of employees, incredible amounts of responsibility. How does that happen?
That's the culture. That's the culture of Walmart. I mean, I'm part of that culture. If you want to grow and you want to have a career, it's there for you. People just need to, partner with someone. Not our past vice president, Dakota Smith, started off as a cart pusher. He's part of $1 billion, and he's African American. He's part of $1 billion business, and he's just recently retired. So these success stories that you're talking about, cart pusher, cashier, to running multiple divisions or regions, is somebody took the time and helped develop that individual. And it's not always.
But let me ask you this, Tina. You're a store manager, so you hire people. You see lots of people. When somebody walks in the door, are you able to say, okay, John, Betty, they got it. I can see it in their eyes. I can see it in the interview. They're going places. Think about that when we come forward. I'm going to get you to answer that question, because I think that's the big question a lot of folks have is, are leaders born or are leaders made? KBLA Talk 1580.
To Areva Martin in real time on KBLA Talk 1580.
Women's History Month continues as we honor the Black women who have made a way for us throughout history. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News, brought to you by Lendistry. Civil rights activist and broadcasting executive Zernona Clayton has been honored in Atlanta for all her astounding efforts within the civil rights movement over the years. On International Women's Day, she was honored with an 8-foot statue by sculptor Ed White in downtown Atlanta. Some of her contributions to the movement include being instrumental in the desegregation of Atlanta's hospitals, going undercover to investigate employment discrimination, organizing events for the SCLC at the time of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and more. I'm Maisha Cairo, and that's your K-Black Minute News.
Thanks to our new sponsor, Lendistry. Lendistry is a national Black-led small business lender that is headquartered in Los Angeles. Lendistry helps small business owners access the affordable capital needed to grow. Visit Lendistry, LENDISTRY.com KBLA today.
Our Weekly Los Angeles is the largest audited Black newspaper in the state of California, with a distribution of over 50,000 copies weekly. Pick up a copy every Thursday to get the latest news on African American communities of LA. You can also keep up with what's going on in Los Angeles and surrounding cities by going to www.ourweekly.com. The Our Weekly website is updated daily with the current news about us and for us. For your advertising needs, Our Weekly offers economical advertising packages to fit your budget. Feel free to call Our Weekly Los Angeles at 323-905-1300 or visit the website at www.ourweekly.com. Our Weekly Los Angeles, reporting news that matters to you.
I'm young, gifted, and black. At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
Hey there, I'm Jared Hill, president of the National Association of Black Journalists of Los Angeles, and I just want to say thank you for the benevolent $10,000 donation and scholarships for the next generation of Black journalists.
And I'm Haywood Galbraith, photojournalist and founder of the Minority Photojournalism Institute. Thanks, KBLA, for your generous $10,000 scholarship gift to help us train the next generation of Black photojournalists.
Congratulations to all the students who will benefit from the scholarship dollars raised at our Black History Month luncheon, honoring Black legends in LA media. When we come forward at KBLA Talk 1580, we're bringing everybody with us. Everybody with us.
We are closing out Women's History Month with a celebration of all women, but today we're focusing on Black women, and even more specifically, we are celebrating Tina Sims and Gabrielle Earl. Tina, I was asking you before the break, are leaders made or are they born? So when somebody walks in that door in that $112 million store that you manage for Walmart, are you able to just focus in on them and say, okay, this person's going to be a lead. This person could be the next store manager. Do you have that kind of foresight after being an employer now for, over a decade?
Yes. I tell my market manager all the time when we're looking at promoting associates, it's like, look, there's a difference. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but not wanting to learn. You have to continue to be a student of the business. I will take the will versus skill any day. And you ask me, are leaders born or are they made? I believe we all are born with some leadership in us. It's just sometimes it takes a little bit of pulling it out of us and being able to speak up and telling your employer exactly what you want to do. Be honest. Be honest with your employer and be honest with yourself. Anybody can do this. You just have to put your mind to it.
I love what you said. I'm going to go tell my team that. Take the will over the skill any day. Okay, that's good advice. I'm learning something. Be a lifelong learner. I totally agree with you on that, Tina. Gabrielle, I want to talk to you about millennials. You guys get a bad reputation. Folks are like, they snowflakes. They don't want to work. It's all about the quality of their life. It doesn't go on Instagram. They're not interested in it. So stand up in defense of millennials in the workplace. Tell us why all of those horrible things people say about them are wrong, and what your experience has been working around and with other millennials.
Well, I can definitely tell you it's totally wrong. We're hardworking, we're here, we're willing to learn and just put in the hours. I've come in contact with so many wonderful millennials with a lot of innovative ideas. So I honestly, we're always talking about millennials, Gen X and Z and all the generations, but it depends on the individual, really.
So you don't think there's any universal trait, like this is vanity culture that's been created by social media? You don't think any of that's influencing the work ethic? Okay, I hear you. Miss Tina, what do you have to say about that?
I I agree with her. I work with a lot of millennials, and my daughter is a millennial, and she's very hardworking. I think it has a lot to do. And I tell my store lead, Maisha, this all the time: how you were raised.
How do you what?
How you were raised.
Okay.
How you were raised has a lot of influence on how you act in the workforce, what good work ethic looks like. Are you able to be trained? Are you willing to learn? I think the millennials sometimes get a little bit of a bad rap there, but I work with a lot of millennials that are doing an outstanding job.
Gabrielle, what can employers do? Non-millennial employers, what can we do, you think, to get the most out of you? You're saying, hey, you guys are hardworking, you show up, you want to learn, you're inquisitive, you want to do a good job. For those employers who may be struggling in getting that best out of their millennial work staff, what advice do you have for them?
I think really having an open door policy. Because the millennial era, that age group is very outgoing and has a lot to give and a lot of new ideas. So like in our biweekly staff meeting, our chief typically always asks, it might sound a little cliche, he'll say, are there any warm and fuzzies anyone wants to share? And that's great because it opens up just for open conversation. Let's celebrate the small things, the big things, and if you have new ideas. So, and being okay with change.
Okay.
Because I think as millennials, we're, 1 week it might be this, and then we're flexible to do something the next week. So, and I mean, it may be good, it may be bad, but trial and error. So.
But I love that. You said millennials have a lot to say. They're used to talking. They're used to going on their phone and just writing out a post, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. So the workplace
all about communication.
Listen to them. Have an open door policy and listen to them. All right, Tina, you manage a lot of millennials. What advice do you have for anyone that's maybe struggling, like saying, hey, these, making these gross generalizations, which we know are not true for every person, but people tend to, lump folks together and they'll say, oh, the millennials are this. They say the baby boomers. They say baby boomers don't want to learn anything new. They're inflexible. They're stuck in their ways. So every demographic gets, saddled with some reputation, earned or, not earned rightfully. But what would you say, Tina, to anyone who's managing a workforce that has both millennials and some boomers in it?
I think as a leader, you got to take the time to get to know your people. I think she said something really well in regards to open door policy. We have that at Walmart. You can come in with ideas. You don't have to wait for a meeting. Most of the leaders, the team leads in my store or like department managers, they're millennials. And just taking the time to get to know who they are, what they want to do, and there's a respect level there. And I think if you take the time to teach them and show them new things, not everything's going to be 100%. I get it, but I think the relationship building is key.
All right. Great advice. Gabrielle, I'll ask you any advice you have for someone who's out there who's stuck in their career, who feels like they're not gratified where they are, but they don't know how to make that next move. What advice? You've been successful. You've had lots of jobs in the city. You've been there 16 years. You deserve an award just for that. I mean, I'm just so impressed with that. What advice would you give to someone, a millennial or Gen Z, who's stuck?
I would definitely express to them the value in networking. One thing about the baby boomers is that they have a lot of knowledge and a lot to give. And so find you a mentor and also try to absorb as much knowledge as possible. Because I think, as she had stated earlier, you want to be a steward of just knowledge, a steward of learning. That will help you get out that rut to see, go to the drawing board. What's my next move?
All right. Great advice. And Tina, I'll end with you again. You see a lot of folks. You've advanced people. You've promoted people. You're striving for a promotion yourself. What advice would you give to someone that's stuck, who says, I've been on a job X number of years, I don't like it, I'm not gratified, but they don't know how to get going. They don't know how to make that next move to go to that next level?
I think the open, honest communication with your superior. If there's something that you want to do, if there's something that you're interested in, and to her point, she's held several different jobs in those 16 years. There had to have been some level of communication, open dialogue about performance and what you really want to do. What are your goals? Be honest. What are your goals? And shoot for those goals, and you have to communicate those goals.
Yeah, both of you are in agreement. Communication is key. And I would even go further and say you got to be honest with yourself, because a lot of times there's something holding you back. A lot of women we know, particularly Black women, talk about imposter syndrome, not feeling like they are good enough, not feeling like they have what it takes to be the boss, to be the manager, to be the leader. So you've got to have those honest conversations with yourself. I was just giving some advice to someone I mentor and telling them, go back to the drawing board and look at what you were good at, what you got excited about when you were in school. And that can sometimes be a good way to think about what that next move is, because if you get excited about something, you're more likely to work for it. You're more likely to put in the time and the effort to make it happen. But I just want to, again, congratulate you, Tina. Tremendous progress you've made at Walmart. Keep climbing that ladder and keep throwing the hand back down and reaching down and bringing other folks up. Keep lifting as you climb. Appreciate that you have been doing that throughout your career, and just encourage you to continue to do that. We need more Tinas in the workplace. That's how we're going to get more Black women in those C-suites, is by when somebody does make an inroad, that they don't close the door, that they keep looking to see who they can bring along with them. And Gabrielle, keep educating folks about different careers they may have never thought of. I didn't know what a Wharfinger was until this conversation, so I'm going to be talking to folks about that who may have an interest in it. But again, congratulations to both of you. You are amazing women that we are so honored to celebrate on this day and during Women's History Month. Stay with us, KBLA. Next voice you will hear is Robin Ayers from the Raw Report. KBLA Talk 1580.